Straight the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called work on your game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is the swift sword, how to eliminate losers quickly. Now, before we get into this, let me remind everybody, I send out a text message free of charge every single morning that is guaranteed to have you focused, sharp, and on point. I call it the daily motivation. And listen, I'm not even going to ask you. I'm just going to tell you that I know you want to receive this message every single day, free of charge, straight to your phone. So here's what you do to get it. Text me at my number, which is 305-384-6894. And every day when the daily motivation text goes out, because you are a member of my texting community, and that's the only reason I'm going to do this, I'm going to send you that message for free every single day, straight to your phone. Just text me at my number. Again, it is listed down below in the description to this episode, wherever you are watching or listening. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. Some people ask me, Dre, do you offer any type of coaching? Is there any way that I can get deeper and further enrichment with you outside of listening to this show and getting your text messages? The answer is yes, you can. I'm glad that you asked. And let me tell you how to do it. All you got to do is become a member of my university. Again, it is called Work on Your Game University. That is where I do all my coaching. That is where I have all my courses. That's where you get all my high level training. The way you get access to that is just by joining the university, by simply going to, if you couldn't guess, let me tell you, it's workonyourgameuniversity.com. If you just go to workonyourgameuniversity.com, that is where you can get direct access to Work on Your Game University, get direct coaching from me, and we can go to our next levels. We got a few options there and a few ways that you can engage. If you just go to that page, there are buttons right there on that page to tell you what ways you can engage. You can choose your mission from right there on that page. Again, workonyourgameuniversity.com. The links to both the number and the university are down below in the description to this episode. With all that said, let's get into today's topic, which is, again, the swift sword, how to eliminate losers quickly. Now, as you are familiar with my work here at Work on Your Game, you know that I talk about time a lot. We emphasize time so much here on the show because time is the one resource of all those that we have that you can't get more of it once you run out of it. You run out of time, the game is completely over. When you run out of time, the game is over. There is no more time to be gotten. So that's why we need to be swift in our decision making. We need to be swift in our execution. We need to be swift in moving from one task to the next. And we also need to be swift in getting rid of stuff that we know is not working, because none of us is perfect. We are all mere mortals. None of us has everything all figured out at any time ever. So when we realize that something is not working for us and not serving us, we need to quickly move on from it and move on to the next thing. So this is about addition by subtraction, because we're talking about here today getting rid of things, ideas, and people that are not producing the results that we want as quickly as we want them done. So when I say something's not working, quote unquote, working, this is what I mean. So anytime any of you use that phrase, is this working? Is something working? Then we have to, first of all, get clear on what working means. Because a lot of times people don't they don't articulate what they mean when they say working. So I'm articulating it here. Working means getting the results that you want at the pace and tempo at which you want them. Anything that's not doing that, you need to get rid of it. You need to get rid of it fast. And I'm going to explain how and why here today. Point number one. Topic, once again, is the swift sword, how to eliminate losers quickly. Number one, value of time. How much is an hour of your time worth? This is not a rhetorical question. How much is an hour of your time worth in actual dollars? Here's how you figure it out. Given the number of hours you work in a week, which you should know, and the amount of money you want to make in a year, which you should also know, how much money do you need to be making every working hour? All right, this is simple mathematics. All right, pull out the calculator app on your phone and do the math. If you don't know this number, figure this number. You need an actual number. Once you know this number, then it is easy to measure the value of your time versus how much value is being produced in that time by anything or anyone outside of yourself. Actually, it also includes yourself. Then you can make decisions about what to do, what to keep doing, what to stop doing, what to delegate, what you should do more of, what you should probably do a whole lot more of, and what you need to eliminate or fix because it's not producing enough value given the amount of money you want to be making and the amount of time that it's taking. See, the lack of clarity that people have about the value of their time is the main reason that many people's time does not get used anywhere close to efficiently because they have no idea how much it's worth. If you don't know how much the time is worth, then how do you make a decision about what to do with your time? How do you make a value judgment when you have no idea what the value is? See, if you believe an hour of your time is worth $100 and you're doing something that you can see by your calculation, the value of that task is about $50 an hour, you're losing $50 every hour that you spend doing that task. Doesn't mean you can't do it, but every hour that you spend doing that task, now you're $50 behind. Now you got to do something extra to make up for the money that you just lost. Everybody follow what I'm saying here? And see, when you start thinking about your time in this way, when you put an actual dollar value on it, and this is especially true for you entrepreneurs who get to make your own schedule and your money is based on what you're able to go out there and create in the marketplace because you're not on salary. You entrepreneurs, when you start thinking about time in this way, you'll make a lot smarter decisions about what to do with your time and what not to do. And it will hopefully create a stronger sense of urgency for you about what you are doing with your time and why you are doing it. And it'll make you, even before the urgency, you'll just be more conscious about how your time is getting used, which is really what a lot of people need. You just need more consciousness about this stuff. Because as you hear me use these phrases all the time, being conscious and intentional about what you're doing with your stuff. If you're not being conscious and intentional about how you're using your resources, then your resources can end up getting used frivolously, or what some of you will call wasted, simply because you're not thinking consciously about what's happening. And when you're not thinking about it, things can just breeze by you. All right. Any of you ever been in a situation where you weren't constantly thinking about what was happening, but then stuff was happening and you finally looked at it and realized, like, damn, I spent all that money. I didn't even realize it. All that time went by. I didn't even realize it. All these things were happening behind my back. I didn't even realize it. Why didn't you realize it? Because you were not conscious about what was taking place. When you get conscious about what's happening, you notice more. You will make adjustments more quickly. And when something's not right, you'll fix it much more sooner than when you aren't paying attention to it. And do not assume that other people or things are going to fix these things on your behalf because they don't care as much as you do about your time. You had to be the number one person paying attention to what's happening with your time. Everybody follow what I'm saying here? So clarity comes from you deciding, what does clarity look like? Or how much is my time worth? When you know exactly to the dollar how much your time is worth, then it'd be easy for you to decide what to do with your time. If you don't know how much your time is worth, then it's easy for your time to get used up in ways that you're not even aware of what's happening, and which is happening to a lot of you on a daily basis right now. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is the swift sword, how to get rid of anything that is not working as quickly as possible. Number 2, do not fall victim to what we call the sunk cost fallacy. What is the sunk cost fallacy? First of all, what's a sunk cost? A sunk cost is a cost that has already been applied, meaning you already paid for it. Whatever it is, you already have made the investment and you are not getting it back. The sunk cost fallacy is the phenomenon whereby a person is reluctant to abandon a strategy or a course of action because they have already invested in it, usually a lot in it, even when it is clear that the abandonment of this thing will be more beneficial. That's the sunk cost fallacy. So let me give you an example of a sunk cost fallacy. I've been in a relationship with this person. This is not me talking. I'm just giving you an example. I've been in a relationship with this person for 3 years, and this is not the ideal relationship, but I've been in it for 3 years, so I might as well stay in it because I already got 3 years invested in it. That is the sunk cost fallacy embodied. Or I'll give you a real life example. Once I went to there's this farm down here in South Florida called Naus Berry Farm, Knaus, Naus. They're a very popular place. Been there every year. This last season, they're a strawberry farm, by the way. So down here in South Florida, in Miami specifically, there are a whole bunch of strawberry farms. A lot of people don't know this, but there are strawberry farms right as soon as you cross the southern border of the actual city limits of Miami, there's a whole bunch of farms, a lot of farmland, expansive farmland down at the very southern end of the city when you get outside of Miami. And all these farms Many of them grow strawberries. So strawberries just grow well down here in South Florida. So there's a place called Niles Berry Farm, extremely popular place. If you live in Miami, you might know about it. If you don't know about it, you live in Miami, you should find out about it. Look it up. And they're open their season runs from late October through maybe mid-April. So October to April. So right now, I'm recording this in the summertime. They're not open right now. Strawberries grow in the fall and the winter. In the spring, I don't know. They don't grow in the summer. You would think they grow in the summer, right? But they don't grow in the summer. But anyway, at this place, Niles Berry Farm, they have an open strawberry field where you can actually go out. You pick your own strawberries. They call it You Pick Strawberries. That's what it's called. That's a popular thing. You get to pick your own. And they have fruits and not fruits, but vegetables as well, like tomatoes and tomatoes, maybe peppers, but you can pick your own fruits, strawberries, and tomatoes. You put them in a little container, then you bring them up to the counter. They weigh how much you got, and then you pay by the pound for whatever it is that you got. So I've been going to Niles Berry Farm for a while. And they also have an indoor facility. And the indoor facility has a bakery. And the bakery sells like baked goods, like cakes and cookies and sticky buns, honey buns, things like that. Now, the indoor facility is much more popular than the outdoor facility. And for a very simple reason, because the outdoor facility where you pick your own strawberries, you have to actually do some damn work. And it's hot outside, it's sunny outside. You got to be out in the field picking strawberries. All right, there's very little competition to get in the field to pick strawberries. It's not that there aren't people out there. There are always people out there. But there's never been, many times I've been in Niles Berry Farm, there's never been a line to go pick strawberries. All right, there's not a line. You don't have to wait in line to pick strawberries. You grab your container, you go to the counter, they give you a container, you pick your strawberries, you come back, you pay for them. There's never a line to do that. There is always a line at the bakery. Now, and let me not say always. That's not correct. In the beginning of the year, so from when the season opens, which is about late October, around Halloween-ish, all the way up through Christmas, those 2 months, Niles Berry Farm is packed. They do a ton of business in that time of year. I would bet they do most of their business in those first 2 months of the year, those first 2 months of the season, from Halloween through Christmas. That's when they do most of their business. Why? Because a ton of people, when I say a ton of people come there, stand in line so they can go to the bakery and buy baked goods. And let me explain to you what I mean when I say a ton. I pulled up to Niles Berry Farm before when the season just opened. I remember I went there. Thanksgiving is on a Thursday, right? So I remember I went to Niles Berry Farm on like the Tuesday or the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, like the day before Thanksgiving. And the line for the bakery, just the bakery, because the strawberry season, often the strawberries are not blooming. I don't know what the word is for when the strawberries are actually coming out of the plant, so where you can actually pick them. Sometimes Niles Berry Farm opens for the season, but the strawberries aren't ready yet. So you can't even pick strawberries until like mid-December. So it's open in October and November, but you can't pick strawberries till December when the strawberries start actually coming out. And people will still come there, though, to go to the bakery. So I remember I pulled up once, not to get strawberries because they weren't ready yet. It was right before Thanksgiving, just to go to the bakery. Do you know how long this line was? This line had to be, and they'll even tell you because they have an Instagram account, and you can send them a DM or leave a comment on their post and ask how long is the line right now, and they'll tell you. If you come and get in line right now, you're gonna be standing in line for about 3 hours. They'll tell you this. You'll be standing in line for 4 hours, right? So I remember once me and Anna went to Niles Berry Farm, and the line was long. And we had already drove down there, and this mine just bottom the tip of the city. And I live in like the far away from there. So it's about an hour from there. So, and I remember we had been standing in line for about 30 minutes and we're looking at it like, all right. And this was me. I put the blame on me. I don't put this on Anna. Put it on me. I said, all right, we've been standing here for 30 minutes. You might as well just keep standing. 30 minutes became an hour. An hour became 2. 2 became 3. 3 became 4. We stood in this line for 4 hours. Now, we did get to the front of the line. We did buy our baked goods, but it was literally 4 hours. That's the only time I ever did that. That is an example of the sunk cost fallacy. Why? Because I'd already been standing there. We already drove all the way down here. Might as well just stand here. And that's exactly what we did. Now, the next time I went down there, I knew it was going to be a long line. So here's what I did. I got smarter. Next time I got to Niles Berry Farm, the line was long as hell again. I just walked up I saw somebody standing who was very close to the front of the line. And mind you, this place opens at like 8 in the morning, right? People will get there at 6 in the morning. They'll sit outside, kind of like waiting at the Apple store when a new phone comes out. They'll do this. They will camp outside of the shop at 6 in the morning just so they can be first in line to buy the baked goods, because the sticky buns there are actually very good. And that's what I was going to buy. So I saw some guy at the front of the line, black guy, and I said, hey, can I offer you a bribe to buy me something? He said, yeah, you can. So I gave him, because the sticky buns, I wanted a dozen sticky buns. They were like $12 or whatever it was. I said, look, I gave him a $20 in cash, because they don't take, Nowsberry Farm does not take credit cards or Apple Pay or nothing. This is traditional, old school business people. No credit, no debit, no Apple Pay, none of that. It's all cash. So I gave this guy a $20 bill. I said, all right, just get me a dozen sticky buns. They're $12 and you keep the change, which was like $8. And he was already in line. He was like, all right, no problem. I gave him 20. He got my dozen sticky buns. He got to keep the change, and boom, I was out of there in literally 10 minutes. And that's what I did that day. Where the line, if I had stood in line, I would have been there for 4 hours. The whole point is, the sunk cost fallacy is when we have already invested in something. And because we've invested in it, even though we can see consciously that we probably should stop investing in it, we keep investing simply because we already started. This is a bad idea, and it's a mental block that every human being is susceptible to, but we got to catch ourselves in it. You got to catch yourself when you find yourself here. Sunk cost fallacy is a derivative of the law of inertia, which states that an object in motion remains in motion until acted upon by an outside force. Right? When we've already committed a certain amount of resources to a course of action, even if it's not working, it's easier to commit to that course of action than it is to stop committing to it, even if the feedback we're receiving tells us that this thing is not working. All right, we need to just go do something different. We keep doing it anyway because it's easier to keep doing it than it is to change. Your goal is not to be consistent at doing stuff just because you want to say you're consistent. So consistency is a good thing, folks. All right, I preach consistency. All right, I got a book. How many of my books do I mention consistency? The Mirror Motivation, I talk about it. Third Day, I talk about it. Work on Your Game, I talk about it. The Mental Workbook, I talk about consistency. I talk about consistency in damn near everything I do, because consistency is a key aspect of the whole Work on Your Game ethos. However, what are you being consistent at is an important question that you must ask and you must answer. Your goal is to figure out what produces your desired results, and you want to be consistent at those things, not just be consistent just to say that you're being consistent. Okay, you don't want to fall victim to the sunk cost fallacy, because like quicksand, it will draw you in very quickly, and before you know it, you've used up a whole bunch of your resources that you cannot get back, specifically your time. Everybody caught me there. All right, and if you're ever in South Florida, and between October, let's say November and April, make sure you go to Nowsberry Farm, but you should probably hit them on Twitter or call them on the phone before you go and ask them, hey, how long is that line for the bakery? Because what you don't want to be is what I was that one day, falling victim to the sunk cost fallacy, standing in line for 3 hours. Now, if you want to just pick strawberries, you're completely fine, because again, ain't no competition to go out to the field and do work, but there is competition to stand in line to get some baked goods. You think about why that is. Moving on to point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is the swift sword, how to eliminate losers quickly. Number 3, be a fast decision maker. We know that to be a leader, you got to make decisions, and you need to make decisions quickly, because successful people make decisions quickly and they change their decisions slowly. Let me say that again. Fast people make decisions quickly and they change decisions slowly. I have at least 10 episodes in the history of this feed. I'm looking right now at the episode list in the history of Work on Your Game Masterclass, where I've talked about decisions. Episode 1574, how to be a professional decision maker. Episode 1308, how to make smarter decisions. Episode 1270, how to cure yourself of indecision. Episode 920, strengthen your decision making muscle. Episode 837, doubt and decision do not mix. I got so many episodes on decision, I'm not even going to list all of these for you because there are too many. Let's see. Episode number 2608, how, why, and when to make executive decisions. Episode 2449, group decision is an oxymoron. There's no such thing as a group decision. You need to be a fast decision maker. And you need to, once you make a decision, do not change that decision so quickly. The reason why successful people can make decisions quickly is because they have clear frameworks for how and why they make their decisions. Let me say that again. Because some of you may be saying, all right, Dre, I get it. I want to make fast decisions. I understand the concept of making decisions quickly, but sometimes I really got to think about what decision I really want to make. Sometimes I really do need to think about it. All right, here, let me help you out. The reason why successful people can make decisions so quickly is because they have frameworks for decisions. In other words, they already have They already have molds into which they fit every decision that they need to make. So they already know how to make the decision, so they don't have to spend time thinking about it. They thought about it before they even got to the situation in which they would need to think about it. So the thinking was already done ahead of time. You know what we call that? Because guess what? I got a whole episode on it. It's called Doing Your Homework. I talked about that in episode 1925. Doing your homework is preparing ahead of time for the situation before it happens so that you don't need to use up a bunch of your resources when it happens. You did the work already. It's like if you're playing a sport. Like I know I have a lot of sports players and sports coaches who listen to this show. If you're a sports coach, what does your team do before a game against the upcoming opponent? You scout the opponent, right? You scout what the opponent's going to do. You scout what their game plan is. You know who their players are. You know what plays they like to run. You know what their tendencies are. What are you doing? You're doing your homework so that when you get in the game and they start doing those things that you know they're going to do, you don't have to sit and think about, what do I do in this situation? We got to think about this. No, you don't have time to think about it, first of all, and you already did the work before the game, so you don't have to do it. You did the homework up front. So this is called doing your homework, folks. Figuring out what your frameworks and your principles are for how you make decisions is part of you personally doing your personal homework. This is your personal development right here. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel or come up with a whole new frame of mind every time a challenge comes up or a question comes up in your life. The reason why many of you are so slow to make decisions is because you have no framework from which to make decisions or how to choose between options. Some people like to consider this slowness to be some sort of virtue, so you can feel good about being slow. All right, that's bullshit. This slowness is costing you time, and time is your life. When your default setting is slow, life is passing you by where you're trying to figure out what to do. And people who already have frameworks for making decisions are passing you by and taking opportunity, money, and success off the table that would be yours if you could simply make decisions faster. So it would behoove you to get better at making decisions more quickly. So you have to decide, how am I going to make these decisions? Here's a simple framework I can give you that all of you can start applying right now. I can give you some that I apply myself personally. Let me give you one that everybody can use. Anything that you know you're going to do eventually, do it now. There's a simple framework y'all can use to make decisions. If you know you're going to do it eventually, do it now. I just bought a ticket to a marketing conference, $1,000 ticket this morning when I'm recording this. I know I'm going to the conference. I looked at the lineup. It didn't really matter who the lineup was, who was going to be speaking. I knew I was going to the conference anyway. And I told myself, and I had in the back of my mind, I need to get a ticket to this conference. I need to get a ticket, but I hadn't been consciously thinking about it, just been sitting in the back of my mind because I know I could get the ticket basically when I get around to it. I could wait 2-3 months and get the ticket to this conference, because the conference is not for several months. I could wait till the last week before the conference, and there will still be tickets available. I'll be able to get one. It'll be completely fine. But I was looking at, there was something, the person who was running the event put an email out, and they were saying, hey, we announced these people are going to be speaking and this and that, and basically hyping the event up, trying to sell more tickets. And I thought about it, and I just made a note. I do need to write down and remember to get a ticket to this event. I remember I was looking at the site, and I remember I told myself, same thing I just told you all. All right, Dre, if you know you're going to do it, just do it now. All right, stop putting it off. Stop putting it off till a week later. Stop putting it off till you feel comfortable or whatever doing it, or whatever the situation is. Are you going to the event? Yes. Okay, get the damn ticket. If you're going to do it now. All right, any of you could use that, and that will help cut down all this hemming and hawing and a long time that you take to make decisions for no reason. If you're going to do it now. And if you're not going to do it, just say no and eliminate it from your mind right now. All this thinking about it, shit, all right, nobody needs to think about anything. All right, most of the time, you don't need to think about it. You do need to think about it, but your thinking happens so quickly that you don't need to. By the time it takes you to express that I need to think about it, you already thought about it. The time that it takes you to say, I need to think about it, you already thought about it. You already decided what you want to do. What you're thinking about is either how you're going to do it, meaning you're going to do it, you're just thinking about how, or you're not going to do it. You're just trying to think about how to get this question out of my face so I can feel comfortable again. So like if somebody's asking you to do something and you know the answer is no, but you don't want to tell them no to their faces, I need to think about it. It's just a soft way of getting rid of them. All right, listen, I'm in sales. All right, I know the game. All right, I've had a lot of sales conversation. So it would behoove you to get better at making decisions quickly. All right, all you need is a structure for how to make decisions. All right, this is not a suggestion, it's a requirement. This will help you make decisions a lot quicker. It'll save you a whole lot of time, or it'll give you back a lot of time. It's not really saving time because you got the same amount no matter what you do with it. It'll give you back more time you can then use for more important things besides thinking about it in which you shouldn't be taking time to do that. You should think about it now so that you have your work done. You do your homework, think about it, so then you don't have to do this anymore in the future. That's it. Let's recap today's class, which is a swift sword, how to eliminate losers quickly and how to pick up the winners quickly. We should say that too. This is another topic about addition by subtraction, because you get rid of the stuff that is costing you time so you can do more of the stuff that at least allows you to make more of your time. Let's put it that way. Point number one, the value of time. How much is an hour of your time worth? You need an actual number. Look at how many hours you work in a week. Look at how much money you make in a year. And then do some calculations on how much money every hour of your working day is worth. Not your whole day, but your working day. How much money is an hour of your time actually worth in actual dollars? You need to know. This is not a number you're making up out of the sky. I just gave you the calculation. I gave you the framework to make the formula, rather, to make this decision. You need to know so that you can make value judgments about how to use your time and how not to use it. Number two, do not fall victim to the sunk cost fallacy, like me standing around to buy some damn bakery goods for 4 hours. Sunk cost fallacy is a phenomenon where a person is reluctant to abandon a strategy or course of action because they have invested heavily in it, even when it is clear the abandonment will be more beneficial. This is a derivative of the law of inertia. It is easier to keep doing the same thing than it is to change, even when doing the same thing is not helping you. Your goal is to figure out what helps you produce desired results and be consistent at that, not consistent just for the sake of consistency. Because a lot of people are consistent in things that don't work. Number three, be a fast decision maker. Successful people make decisions quickly and change them slowly because they have done their homework and they already know how they're going to make their decisions. They have mental frameworks for how they make decisions so that they don't have to figure out what am I going to do in every situation. I explained how frameworks work in episode number. I got so many episodes where I talked about frameworks. I want to go to one where I explain frameworks. Episode 1440, frameworks. The master skill of organizing your knowledge. When you have clear frameworks for how to make decisions, it is easier to make decisions. You can do them a lot more quickly, and you can move on and take opportunity and money off the table while the slowpokes are trying to figure out what to do and trying to figure out what to think. All right, you don't want to be that person. If that's been you, stop letting that be you. All right, get yourself out of that by doing your damn homework and getting your frameworks of mind in place early so that you can stop wasting time. One simple framework is anything you know you're eventually going to do it now. If you're thinking about it now, do it now. That can help a lot of you get a whole lot more done a lot more quickly immediately. But all that said, text me. Tell me the best idea, best point that you got from today's episode. My number is 305-384-6894. And Work on Your Game University. That is a place where you get coached by me. If you like what you heard in this episode and you want more of this, you want to go deeper on this, you would like me to coach you on how to apply this stuff, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com and let's get to work. Work on your game. Dre, all